sawa, maana kifo ndio hatima yetu. Wale kanyaga moga mwenge Mungu kafanya ikawa ya jeshi kubwa sana. Washabe wakataka mbio sana, wakuogopa kishindo cha wakoma. Kumbe Mungu anaweza fanya unyonge wetu uwashtue maadui zetu, nasi tusiogope hata tokewa wakoma. Atafanya njia pasipo njia. Wale kanyaga moga mwenge Mungu kafanya ikawa ya jeshi kubwa sana. Washabe wakataka mbio sana, wakuogopa kishindo cha wakoma. Kumbe Mungu anaweza fanya unyonge wetu uwashtue maadui zetu, nasi tusiogope hata tokewa wakoma. Atafanya njia pasipo njia.
Thank you so much. Before we start, I will request Elder Wagan to offer a word of prayer. Thank you so much. We are in our second lesson of this third quarter that began slightly last week. And before we dash into the week's lesson, I just want us to have a small recap of last week's lesson. Some of the lessons that outstood in our last lesson class.
Thank you very much. Last lesson was a foundation, was a basis of what we are going to learn throughout the week. And in fact, was the best of it all. It was tackling the reason why Moses is called. It was giving us the background why the Israelites were already in Egypt. We were given, and in fact, we were being told that you cannot read the book of Exodus without reading the book of Genesis. The reason why the Israelites were in Egypt were explained in the book of Genesis, and if you go through the book of Genesis, that is Genesis 15, we have the reason why these people were taken there. Now Moses, God gave us a very perfect meaning and the reason why he was coming to look for Moses to go and deliver the Israel. He said, I have seen how my people are suffering. I have seen the oppression. I have seen them. I have heard them. I've seen the tears. So God was descending down, and we are setting the foundation and the basis why God was coming down to deliver us. We also learned that that is except a replica of what is happening today. Jesus came for the main purpose of deliverance from the Egypt of sin, so that we prepare us for the second coming of his second coming, and we also join the New Jerusalem, which is yet to come. That was the basis, and that is the reason we are going to continue studying this lesson for almost 3 good months.
Thank you. Since it is a continuation of the same, and based on what you've just said, the groaning of God's people in Egypt, perhaps that is the reason why this week the lesson writer also brought it to us about the burning bush. And we are going to scrutinize, to dig deep, and to ventilate into these issues pertaining the burning bush. In just the introduction part of it, when we are talking about the burning bush, what rings into our mind first is the call of Moses. When Moses encountered himself with God, when he was in the field there, looking for the sheep. We understand the activities that were taking place when Moses met God. And the lesson writer, we've been given the key text from the book of Exodus 3, verse 7 and 8. I want Brother Martin, you read us the key text from the book of Exodus 3, 7 and 8 so that we dig deep into it kindly.
Thank you, Elder Alcent. The key text of the day says, that is on Exodus 3, 7 and 8. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the oppression of my people who are in Egypt, and have heard their cry because of their taskmasters. For I know their sorrows, so I have come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up from the land to a good and large land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Thank you.
Thank you. God, having heard the cry of his people, is now calling Moses. And the call of Moses, we are told that was a changing point. And, you know, even in us as Christians, we may be willing to go our way, but there is always God's way. And if we follow that call, then we discover that God's path is always the best. And God's route will always change our route. Allow me to say that although Moses may have not known or may have known the law of compassion, when he saw the burning bush, he interacted with the burning bush, indeed he realized that this was a true miracle. Even you would conclude by so saying that, how would a bush burn but it is not consumed? But I like one thing, that when he made a step and turned around, the Lord spoke. That was the major thing that I learned in this. So the lesson writer is introducing us to several topics that we are going to scan through the week. And it's telling us that at first, it was not very receptive to Moses to accept the call of God. We know how God called Moses, and we are going to learn how Moses brought in several excuses, one after the other, even at a time forcing God to introduce himself to Moses. And you know, Moses had known God, but now we are going to dig deep to know the meaning of the name of the Lord. We may recall instances when you had specific goals, but God redirects our thoughts, our plans. Just the same way he was redirecting the plans and the thoughts of Moses. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to dig deep into the call of Moses, and we are going to learn the steps that Moses took and how God was preparing Moses for a mission. Just to conclude, allow me to say that following God's call in our lives and doing what he leads us to do is surely the path to the most satisfying experience. That is the best path that I will beseech all of us as Christians, that we choose God's path, despite the fact that it may not go as per our own plans, but it is the best plan. I want to bring in my colleagues also to chip in and to tell us what they learned in the previous days. But allow me to conclude by so saying that Moses, how foolish to go our own way when God is calling us. How foolish it will be that God is calling us to follow this way and we are choosing the opposite way. Elder Wagan, just as I bring you in the aspect of now the burning bush, we've been given the story of Moses when he was in Midian with his father-in-law Jethro. He got the wife Zipporah, and God blessed him with 2 kids. And there in the wilderness, he had some experience. And upon the experience, that is when God even inspired him, and he wrote down 2 books. The book of Job and the book of Genesis. And now the lesson writer is giving us the aspect in the book of Exodus 3, 1-6 about the burning bush. Can you tell our viewers plus our people who are present what the lessons that are stood in that area? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to remind us, thank you for giving us a brief introduction on the burning bush. My brothers and sisters, I want to recognize that this is the most dramatic, the most miracle approach God used to present himself to Moses. And by the way, when he appeared to Moses, for a long period of time we have been told that the Moses' life was divided into three major parts. There is the 40 years in Egypt. There is this now 40 years in the wilderness. And by the way, Moses' reign, he was a wanted criminal in Egypt. Now, he found peace. And by the way, Moses was at peace in the Midian. He was already formed part of the family of Jethro. And in fact, he already accepted that now this is where I'm going to be. This is where I'm going to stay. This is what I'm going to do. He was ready, willing, and have accepted to be Jethro's taking care of the sheep. But now, all of a sudden, God is coming, and God is appearing to him, and God is trying to reveal himself powerfully. That Moses, here I am. Moses, do you remember Abraham? Moses, do you remember Isaac? I'm God of these people. But I have come down here for one main reason, that I want to send you down there. Now, we are being told when we are doing a research on this particular given area that Moses was perplexed. Moses was dumbfounded. No, this is the very thing that changed the viewpoint of Moses. And despite the fact that Moses will bring some excuse, but already out of this particular given miraculous approach, God presenting himself, he already accepted the call. Another reason we are learning here, all God's calling are enabled. When God calls you and commission you, already enabled. We are going to see them as we proceed with the discussion. Another thing, when God ignite a fire on us, God is not to consume us, but to strengthen us. Because Moses looked at it, the bush was burning and it was not being consumed. And it was like, wow. So and each and every time when God ignites fire in our life, that fire is only there to prepare us for a greater mission, for a greater work, for a greater job, but not to consume us, not to bring us down. And this is exactly some of the lessons we are learning of God's and what? And Moses. And in fact, there are other things that we are also learning. When Moses turned, it was until, like my elders put it, it was until he turned. And when he turned, God found an opportunity to address him. It is until we have accepted, it is until we see something so unique in our life, and we take it to God in prayer, we take it to God in submission, we take it to God in humility, then God is going to turn and speak to us. God is going to give us his intention in our life regarding the mission he wants us to pursue at that particular given time. This is the best approach God ever done in the history of the characters of the Bible, in the life of Moses in the burning bush. And as we are going to proceed and see more other things, we are going to appreciate how God reveal himself to his people.
Thank you, my elder. You have indeed given it out wholly. And what my fellow learners, what we are learning here is that when Moses heard the voice coming from the fire, the burning bush, the bush burning and it is not consumed. And when he turned, the Lord spoke. And now the Lord spoke and told him that, no, remove your sandals because this is a holy place. He was in the presence of the Lord. Allow me to bring in Brother Martin Opere, and you tell us about the angel of the Lord. The angel of the Lord is now coming in when the lesson writer is telling us about the angel of the Lord, and the word the angel of the Lord means the messenger. And I want you to tell us about this messenger and the reason why there was that importance of a messenger to be there. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder Alcent. Before I proceed to the Monday part of the lesson, allow me bring to our attention our members and our online viewers of some of the lessons that are derived from the burning bush. One, we find that God reveals himself in very ordinary situations.
Sure.
And to reveal himself in every ordinary situation, there is always a purpose. Number two, we have to be very obedient to God's call. And always, even if there is that feeling of inadequacy in us, we must always get up to his task. Then number three, we have also the power of God's presence to sustain. That is the source of strength in us. So as we get to the Monday part, this is just a lift up of apart from the burning bush, because it is introduced in the burning bush. The angel itself, let us first understand the term angel. We are told that angel is derived from the Hebrew word known as malak. And when I was doing research over this, I found that malak had so many different meanings that we are going to see throughout the lesson. The angel of the Lord, as he appeared, there is that impersonation of the God's true nature itself. We are seeing God himself appearing. It's not the angel as we might be seeing it, but actually we are seeing God himself speaking to Moses. For instance, the verses that are given in our Monday part, that is in Genesis 12, 11 and 15 to 18, Genesis 31, 3 and 11. When you get to read this text, that is when Abraham was also approached by an angel, and all that they would say is that, "Here I am, my Lord." So what are we learning from the angel of the Lord? It is that whenever God wants to speak to us, he sends a messenger. And in this case, a messenger is the angel. He brings us the good news from the Lord, brings us a message from the Lord, and that message always has some repercussions that we have to do it. And upon denial, we might perish. So, as we actually get to chapter 3, verse 7 to 12 of Exodus, we are seeing that the God is giving Moses clear instructions and clear understanding that the suffering of God's people in Egypt are of their taskmasters. And we are seeing there is a term clearly coming out of verse 7, that the Lord is referring to Israelites as my people, meaning it is covenantal. And there is a covenant that was made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. When we get to lesson, the lesson writer is telling us that the suffering of God's people in Egypt is colorfully described as groaning and a deep cry for help. And God heard their cry and was concerned. So it means that whenever we are passing through afflictions, there is that aspect that God sees in us. He comes to us at a point that we need him the most. So we are also told that even before Sinai and ratifying of the covenant, God had already named these people his people. So it means that from Abrahamic covenant with God, we are seeing that the descendants of Abraham being the God's people that are now suffering in Egypt. And as we go ahead, God is now speaking to Moses and he is now sending him to Pharaoh for a very specific mission. So in a nutshell, what we are seeing is that God himself is speaking to Moses. As he speaks to Moses through the angel that he sends. So it is God himself revealing to us. He is revealed to Moses too, that he is the one speaking and not what we can see. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What we are learning here is that whenever you are called upon to be sent by God or to be commissioned to go for a certain mission, be it specific, be it general, you are a messenger and you are a mouthpiece of the master who have sent you. Just the same way Jesus was speaking on behalf of God. He was the messenger of God. And now when Moses was called upon to be sent before Pharaoh, he was the messenger to deliver the information that God had to rescue his people. So that is the reason why Moses even was perturbed by so asking himself, who am I so that I can be sent? Who am I? Am I worth being sent before such a famous and a very mighty leader of the world? So Moses wondered why someone like him would be chosen among many who are dwelling in the face of the earth. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we are learning here is that humility is called for, and the sense of unworthiness, that God calls the unqualified, and he qualifies them. And that is a point that we must think very deeply. That irrespective of your status, irrespective of your gender, irrespective of how wealthy or how poor you are, God can still choose, or he can still purpose to choose you to be his messenger. Allow me, for the interest of time.
Before you proceed,
Yes.
we are seeing that when the angel of the Lord appears to Moses, actually from the 40 years in the wilderness, we are seeing Moses is now transformed. From being, we know that when Moses was in the palace, he was equipped with military skills. And now in the wilderness, he is now equipped with the God skills, the angelic skills. And now we are seeing the angel of the Lord appearing to Moses after now being equipped well to serve the Lord's mission. Thank you.
Now we have found, Elder Wagany, that now Moses asking himself, who am I to be sent? Those are just mere excuses that is beginning to develop when God is inviting him for a mission. And now, the Tuesday part talk about the name of the Lord. Moses is even inquiring to know the name of the Lord. Kindly, in less than 2 minutes, Elder Wagany, what about this name of the Lord, and what importance or significance that does it have in the mission of Moses?
Thank you very much. When Moses received the call, the first thing came into his mind that he's going back to Egypt. But then he was wondering. He wanted to know, who is this sending me? 400 years down the line, they have not interacted with God officially, because they were, in fact, then in Egypt, they are gods. They are gods. And the environment changes people. So Moses is wondering that who are you? Who are you? Then he's telling us that now this is the point. In fact, the name of God is not only the name of God, it's what it means. So when God talk about I am who I am, it is like saying I will be who I will be. And it is like God telling Moses that I am God, that is who is in control of everything. Moses, the one talking to you, is the one who is Alpha and Omega. I am everything. I am the creator. I'm almighty. Moses, when I have given you the commission, don't be worried of what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and all the challenges. I am God, and my name is who I am. It means I am all-inclusive. There's nothing I lack. I don't consult anyone. I'm almighty. So then, after this, Moses understood God. And then, in the perception where he is now going to Egypt, he now understands that when I'm going to present this God to these people, they are going to understand him. And by the way, when we proceed, we will realize that even God performed some miracles for him to understand who God is. Because the name of God, what God wants from us is just to testify and stand and explain and reveal and tell other people who have not known him who God is after we have understood him. And that is why Moses was eager to understand who God is, and he understood it clearly, that is the Almighty, the Creator, and the everything about us today and forevermore.
Thank you. Now that you have brought it, we want to look into some of the things that Moses was trying to evade the call, or to heed unto the call of the Lord, by bringing several excuses, despite the fact that the Lord had introduced himself unto him and told him that I am whom I am, and I am going to be with you. That Moses was bringing in, who am I that I can be sent?